All right. That should be it, right? Nice. It's receiving the content. And I guess we'll just wait for everybody to show up once it goes live. And I'll tag everyone in the Discord at the everyone. There. Now everyone can watch. I think it's all muted, right? So that way I don't have to hear myself a million times. Perfect. So I guess we can go ahead and just delve right into this. I don't have my super smug emote, but I do have this super excited one, so that one's also working. But today we're going to be talking about awful Mother's Shillment, I mean Mother's Basement, because he's saying some pretty awful things about how anime piracy is pretty much just no good. It's just no bueno whatsoever. So this is his video called "There's No Good Reason to Pirate Legally Available Anime," which wait, did Mother's Basement ever understand anything? I'd like to believe. I would like to believe that he probably did, but I honestly just don't have any idea. Um, there's not a whole lot that I think he understands other than pushing his ideals about how great Crunchyroll is of a company. But you know, it's something. So let's just go ahead and just get on into it. And this obviously isn't like a pre-recorded video, so I have to like switch over to the full screen part of it and then just hit the play button because there's just not a lot that's here. So let's just go into this. Oh, that's right. I muted everything because I'm an idiot. This is the part of everything that just doesn't work. I think this stream's muted on my side, so it's fine. It's okay. Let's just start over again.
Man, I picked a bad month to do a big themed event. This makes two pieces of huge anime news in as many weeks that need to be talked about pretty much immediately.
Can we go ahead and just be really nitpicky for a very short time? He has two videos here. It's this one that he's showing, High School of the Dead is a masterpiece. Fuck you, fight me. And then he has another one here in the bottom right-hand corner that's called Avatar is an anime. Fuck you, fight me. And I don't understand why he has those. I mean, obviously he's making a series out of them, but maybe that's just me and I'm just being very cynical, but sure, we'll just keep going with this train wreck. How's it going, Nebby? I've missed my Cosmo Frog.
And here I thought February was supposed to be slow and boring. So, The Hollywood Reporter just dropped a pretty interesting article about Crunchyroll, their business history, and their future plans. And, most importantly, the fact that they've contributed over $100 million in royalties to the anime industry.
That's a lot of money. So, if you look at the grand scheme of things, like I pointed out in my other video, it's is get what? That doesn't even make any sense. I'll show it anyways. I buy DVDs. Fucking. I don't understand this. I know who Recoiler is. I could add you as a thing, right? There you go. But $100 million from Crunchyroll is a lot of money, but you have to think about what they don't really spend their money on. I mean, they have 1 million subscribers right now at $7 a month. That's $7 million each month. And then for each year, that's $84 million. Now, if we think about everything else that the other tiers that they offered before, then obviously they have more money than that. But at this point, I think it's more of the money that they have stashed away. Obviously, they weren't really, like, you live streaming the video I was doing at next after this. You can still do your video. I mean, I'm not like the end all be all of this. I mean, obviously, I'm just a person. Obviously, I'm not the best person to do these kind of live debunking videos, but I think it's, you know, it's everybody's fair game. I mean, obviously, Mother's Basement is he's not very smart when it comes to these kinds of things, and sure, he can see this. Like, just look at this article, $100 million. So a lot of that has to go into licensing, sure. But your biggest problem, though, is assuming Mother's Basement is actually good. True. This is true. You know what? We can just skip this point because it's really just about licensing, and they have a lot of money that they don't spend on infrastructure because I think Dragon Ball Super came out last night and it crashed their website again. Good old infrastructure.
This is huge news because it undercuts one of the major pillars of the pro-piracy camp in the anime community. For a long time, one of the biggest talking points of people who argue that it's okay to pirate anime has been a lack of transparency from Crunchyroll and other companies in regards to how much they actually pay creators, which pirates claim to mean they're not paying them anything. Now, if you have two brain cells to rub together, it's not hard to understand why a streaming platform wouldn't want to share a breakdown of their licensing deals. It's the same reason that I don't openly disclose how much money I make from sponsorships.
Well, part of the reason that he doesn't disclose any of that information is because, obviously, because of legal reasons that he'll talk about in this next part, but obviously he can't talk about them because when you get into a contract deal, or if you're a corporate shill like him, you can't really say, hey guys, I work for Crunchyroll. Do you mind throwing me a couple of bucks if I shill out for Funimation or another thing? Wait, most people don't understand why I put Mother's Basement at shit tier. A lot of people like him. I can't get into his videos. I think if he doesn't do anime stuff, he is pretty decent, but if it's about anime stuff, I feel like he has very bare bones knowledge about things. But then again, I don't really know a lot myself. There is a lot of his reviews of animes that are objectively wrong, getting facts wrong. I will agree. I mean, even when we're talking about this, like he's talking about deals that companies make. Sure, I don't want everything to be transparent. Obviously, they can't be. But it gets to the point where when you're dealing with the anime industry, you can't disclose every single deal because then that would compromise like another company wanting to buy it. And he gets into a lot of that stuff too. Who is this basement mother? I don't know who the mother of Mother's Basement is. These are the questions that we need to be asking. So let's get to the part where he pretty much talks about the deals and how awful his analogies are, because those are super cringe as they are anyways.
Not because I don't want to tell you guys where my money is coming from and where it's going, but because that would directly hurt my ability to negotiate better deals in the future. Say, for example, I've got a deal with the Fidget Spinner Corporation, which pays $300 a video because I set up the deal when I had 10,000 subs. I want to set up a new deal to promote.
Oh, just by the way, guys, just by the way, I'm not ever going to shill out for any fidget spinners. That's dumb. That is the worst thing. It's the worst thing I could ever imagine in my entire life. Most hated AnyTuber, Mother's Basement, collabs with most hated theory channel as well, Game Theory. Oh my god. Don't get me started. Don't even.
A competing product, Tide Pods, but because I now have 450,000 subs and it will reach a much wider audience, I want to get paid $800,000 for that video instead. If it's public knowledge that I make $300 for every fidget spinner video, then Tide is going to tell me they won't pay any higher than, say, $350 for a Tide Pod ad, and I'll have to...
Wait a minute, was that just cultural appropriation? I'm just kidding. That's terrible. It's that's the one of the worst puns. Tree fitty. Okay, whatever. I'm just moving on.
Take it, which really sucks because I need that 800 grand to pay for the chemo to treat all the cancer that analogy just gave me.
At least he's self-aware. I mean, at least we can admit that that was pretty self-aware. I'd rather you shell out to the Fidget Spinner Corporation than Crunchyroll, though. You're not wrong, Tejan. This is absolutely true. I don't really see a problem with oh god, get out of the way. I don't see a problem with you putting ads on your videos though. I can't put them on there anyways, but I just generally as a rule don't. Hey Necro, you bitch. I don't understand this love-hate relationship you have with me, Tejan. Or just Burning Phoenix in general too. Necro-themed fidget spinners. Yeah, that's gonna work out great. I just like Burning Phoenix hates me, but he does so much for me. I don't understand why you hate me so much. When the fan subs take the manga text and have better translation than... I was going to make a video about that, but I think I'm going to save it for the... What? You're a sweetheart. No. Oh yeah, what is he's really cool. Me and him converse from time to time. He is he reminds me of like Eminem twins, like just the way that he talks. He's very well versed. Like he's a really cool guy. I'm from your oh my god, don't listen to Piker. He's from Bob Epic Team. I'm surprised the doggo's not here. That's one of the people I was wanting to be here was the doggo.
Likewise, Tide isn't about to tell me that they paid Gigax $16 million for
He got the worst picture of Giguk. I mean, I like Giguk's videos sometimes. Like some of his videos are good. They're kind of getting repetitive, but okay.
30-second spot, because that's naturally going to make me want to ask them for more than I otherwise would. And in the case of streaming sites like, say, Crunchyroll, it's worse than potentially having to shell out as much money for In Another World with my smartphone as they...
That's not a title. That is literally a complete sentence. Okay, whatever, Piker. You're never too late. Yeah, Rags he's a cool guy too. I think he's all right. He has his Discord. I haven't joined in there yet. Mother's Basement is still salty at Digi saying he likes Giguk and hates Mother's Basement. Yeah, there's a lot of drama that goes into that, and I've not ever gotten into the camp where like he was pretty much shit talking them for like what, an hour and a half or something like that. I mean, to be fair, I don't claim to be an anime YouTuber either. At least I don't like the connotation that comes with it. But I mean, if I had to choose, I would just say I'm just a regular, like, plebeian YouTuber, I guess, which is fine by me. But you know, it is what it is. I think that Digibro, after watching a couple of his videos, I thought, okay, yeah, these are kind of cool. You can't hide from the hell you create. Why does like Discord just spill over into the YouTube? It's great. This isn't the only one that did that. This was just the only one that went viral yeah, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. I noticed that there's a lot of back and forth between a lot of the anime YouTubers that happens off the cameras, or at least in this sense off of the YouTube screen. I think it's pretty interesting, but we'll never really know the truth. I know that the Anime Man and I think it's what's his name, Lost Cause. They're pretty cringe on their own. They're pretty different. But I know that they have a lot of off the screen stuff that happened or had happened, and they don't ever like really communicate. But you know, who knows the real story besides them? So that's something that they have to work out. But that's why I don't really Lost Pause. See, I call him Lost Cause because it's the only thing that clicks. And I found out a lot of things about Einstein. I just, whoo boy, that's a story for another day.
Did for the SAO license, because making their rates publicly known tells competitors on average what they're willing to pay for shows and what their upper limit is for buying licenses, which would mean that a big company like Amazon could comfortably outbid them for popular shows by just enough that they couldn't fight back. It would put them in an untenable position.
Okay, so this is the problem that I have with his entire statement about this. Oh, Chibi reviews. Lost Boss used to be a fun guy, but he has dropped quality and he got more popular. Yeah, this is true. But the problem I have with Mother's Basement in this particular part is he was like, well, they have to compete or somebody could outbid them. This is true. The problem is that that's how competition works. If there's a company that wants to buy the license, what they're essentially saying is they won't disclose that. Well, obviously, to be able to compete, they have to know how much they're going to bid. Otherwise, then it's just, not going to happen. Companies do let their rates be known, though. Yeah, that's the whole thing, is they usually do. How's it going at Black Ops? I know you guys should sub to him, too. He's a really good YouTuber, too. He's starting out. He's real good. That's how we know how much companies bought movies for. Absolutely. But that's the thing about like just buying up these licenses. like, say for example, Symphogear, because Crunchyroll has the license to stream Symphogear seasons 1 through 3. They didn't get the fourth one, but say that, I don't know, Viz Media, say if Viz Media wanted to get that fourth season and Crunchyroll doesn't want to tell them, well, we usually pay $500,000 for this license. Well, now they're not going to share that trade secret, so now they can't get it. Well, competition would be pretty good if they were like, well, we could pay 500,000, but we're just not going to do it this time, and then they just don't do it. But then Viz Media comes in and says, well, okay, well, we'll go ahead and pay you 600,000. Well, then they get the license for that season. Is this another? That's my little Google. My Google Home is in the back. That scared me. That legit scared me. But that's about how it works. Piker, oh my god. But that's how competition works. So
no sensibly run company is ever going to kneecap itself by giving away that kind of information, and for a while now, pirates have been holding streaming platforms to that unreasonable standard as an excuse to not pay for things.
I don't think that's how that works, Mother's Basement. I don't think that that's really how that works. These companies have to make money, and the companies have to make money. Like, they have to be able to compete, and when companies compete, the consumer wins. If they're getting licenses to shows that people want to watch, and then people subscribe to your entire company, then they will be able to watch those, and then they'll subscribe. I hope someone gets the license to Anthem of the Heart, which was a great movie I saw. Thanks to the surprise Kiss Anime. Piker 2, the most original name ever. Absolutely. Yeah, like, they just don't. A lot of the things that people want to watch on Crunchyroll, just, they're not there. Like, I want to watch Symphogear Axis, and that's the fourth season of Symphogear. It's not on there. So the only option I have is to go and quote unquote pirate the show, or I can wait for it to be released sometime later in the future, if ever. Oh my god. But let's get over with this horrible video so far.
This article finally puts a stop to that. At $10 million a year, it is no longer possible to reasonably argue that paying for Crunchyroll doesn't support the anime industry.
It doesn't, though. I mean, it does. It supports it, but it only supports it to an extent. If Crunchyroll were to actually be able to pay the anime industry, they would be able to support them even more by upping their infrastructure, making use of a website that actually can support more than 10 people at a time watching their shows. I just don't understand how, on average, the amount has obviously grown yearly. This is also only royalties. The 100 million doesn't count investments and other costs. What? Like, okay, Mother's Basement. Okay, let's just keep on trucking.
The animators themselves are unfortunately a different story, but fixing that's going to require a lot of work on the ground level in Japan, and right now it's just good to know that some extra funds are going toward the industry, and that in the future the West can maybe influence things in a positive direction. But that doesn't mean that pirates are just gonna stop. In fact, they're already finding new reasons to pretend that this money just doesn't matter. Because this was never about ethical principles or competition or any of the other stuff that these people bang on about. It's always been about entitlement.
I don't think anybody's ever been screaming about entitlement the whole time. Subscribing to Crunchyroll is about as equal to supporting the printing company by buying a poster at Walmart. Fact check, he said 10 million, not 100 million. Exactly. Yeah, I know he wrote two different things. He's Mother's Basement is not just one person. He has people that from what I understand, he has people that write his scripts for him. They do the pretty much the groundwork for him. he has an agent that finds out what's trending and what's popular, and then they go based on what they find and say, hey, can you go ahead and make a video on this? And they go ahead and they do such. But even if we were to assume that, like what Mother's Basement is saying, and they're trying to throw in the whole entitlement thing, I don't think pirates have ever said that we're entitled to anything. I think if we're trying to say something the loudest, it's that there's not enough value in Crunchyroll to make us change our minds about pirating. Or in some cases, wait, is Mother's Basement really making this fucking argument? Yeah, he's made this argument 2 times. Well, this being the second time. I'm sure he's made it before. But in another video, he was talking about Kiss Anime and how anime pirates are pretty much making millions off of us and that entire nonsense. But for the most part, I mean, he doesn't understand that the entire rest of the world isn't America. And this doesn't just really affect him. I like Mother's Basement, but this is just stupid. Yeah, like his other videos have, I guess, a better message, but this one just not so much.
Plain and simple. Pirates just don't feel that they should have to pay for their entertainment, and they perform some Olympic caliber mental gymnastics to justify that. There is no good reason to pirate anime.
Remember that. I want you to remember what he just said. There is no good reason to pirate anime.
A lot of people like to pretend that there are, but today, while I don't think it's going to make a lot of people change their ways, I'm going to break down why each of the other major arguments for piracy is also total bullshit. Okay, well, actually, before I dive into that, I do want to clarify something very quickly. There is exactly one, good reason to pirate anime.
Didn't he just say that there was no good reason? Did he not just say that there is no good reason to pirate anime, and now there is only one good reason? Okay.
And that's if the show or movie that you want to watch isn't legally available in your country. If you want to pay license holders for anime and they're just not giving you the opportunity to do so, well, that's on them. Though, obviously, if you want to watch shows that are legally available in your country, even if they just have 1 or 2, you should support your legal options so that they can grow.
But how are they supposed to grow? How in the world are they supposed to grow? No, I don't know if I'm going to stream tonight on Twitch because Mother's Basement's literally ripping my head open with how retarded he sounds. It's how? How are you supposed to support something when they're not giving you anything? Every bootleg DVD online comes from Malaysia. Gee, I don't know. Maybe they don't have the same services as the US. That's not a good reason. I mean, can we, let's just keep going.
And on that note, I think that if you own an anime on DVD or Blu-ray and would like to have it in a more convenient digital format, then you are absolutely within your rights to copy or download it. If the rights holders aren't providing a convenient digital option for you to pay for, again, that's on them. And that's as good a jumping off point as any for talking about one of the most egregiously misused quotes in the history of internet discourse.
What is that?
Piracy is almost always a service problem.
Am I missing? I know I've watched this video, but what?
Gabe Newell said that way back in 2011, talking about the rise of Valve's monolithic online PC game store, Steam. And ever since I started decrying piracy in the anime community, I have seen that shit quoted at me time and time again by people justifying why they don't want to pay for simulcasts. The argument is basically, I don't want to steal anime, but I don't like Crunchyroll's service, and a smart person said that that makes it totally okay for me to steal things. Which is, I mean, that's already really stupid, but it's also not what Gabe Newell was saying. Newell was specifically talking about how most global piracy is a result of regional delays and inconvenience.
Okay, but even that logic, if you really meant for it to be like the regional differences, then let's say that a game comes out in Japan and it never hits the US for months at a time. Then obviously you would pirate it or you would import it. So if you pirate it, then you obviously get that release sooner But if you don't, then you can just pirate it and then you can play it as soon as possible. And then when the game comes out in America, then you can just buy it that way, or you can still pirate it, and then it just makes you look like an asshole. See, it's not what he's. Oh boy.
Before Steam, pirates were the only people offering games worldwide 24/7 for instant download, while legal customers were forced to wait months, sometimes years for localizations, and go to physical stores to pick up their games. Steam changed that dynamic and turned the high seas of Russia into a very profitable market in the process. Now, here's the thing. Crunchyroll and other streaming platforms have already solved the service problem. It used to be that anime came out 6 months to a year late outside Japan, often sold at high prices in limited quantities, and only in specialty stores or at conventions. And
So let me understand this, because when Azumanga Daioh came out many years ago, I was able to go to Best Buy. Obviously, Azumanga Daioh had came out in Japan, obviously way before it came out here in America. But I was able to go to Best Buy, and I was able to just go to the store and pick up each DVD as it came out. Obviously, I didn't have the internet capabilities to really pirate anything, but even then, I was still able to just go to the store and just buy it and leave. So what's this? What is he talking about here? I mean, even if I had to wait 6 months, I didn't know any better. I was just starting out on anime. Are you fucking stupid, Mother's Basement?
a lot of stuff never made it over at all. With simulcasting, we get almost every anime day and date with its release in Japan at a reasonable price sent instantly to our homes. And that has caused anime piracy to decline in the exact same way that game piracy did when Steam became a thing. Which is to say, in regions where simulcasts are available, piracy is way down, but not gone entirely. Some people just don't want to pay for games. Well, that and some people want to avoid harmful practices like invasive DRM, but it's possible to pay for games and mod those problems out, and yeah, game piracy is still a bit more complicated. And anime pirates would argue that what they do is as well, but that doesn't really hold water. Despite the fact that streaming platforms have made anime cheaper, more convenient, and more accessible than ever before, there are people who will still argue that they're not good enough. That because their selection isn't all-encompassing, their translations aren't always up to par with fan subs, and their video quality is supposedly low, that these platforms aren't worth paying for at all.
This is absolutely true because they're not up to par. There's a problem. Obviously, the infrastructure, when your website goes down and the piracy sites are still up, which to be honest, I don't use the piracy sites. I just download them because why in the world would I stream them? That's retarded. But it says anyone who pirates anime is shouldn't pirate. See, this is the thing about when you pirate shows. Sure, you can help support the anime industry if you are a person like myself. You can just go to a store and buy merchandise. You can go on Amazon, or you can just buy stuff or buy product placements. It's fine. All of these companies have money where you can just go to a store and buy something, and it directly impacts the anime studios directly. Obviously, I buy a shit ton of Symphogear stuff, and it's going to go directly to that studio. But for Mother's Basement, I think that just eludes him in some way. Yeah, like I still buy Citrus manga, and that goes directly to the studios. Do I pirate the shit out of the anime? Of course I do. I'm not going to pay money for that. It's literally lesbians just trying to figure out who they are. I mean, I'm going to make a video on it anyways. When he does, right. But if anyone does it, yeah, it's the thing about the true Scotsman. I've already ruined it, but yeah, Mother's Basement doesn't quite understand it, and he's saying that these are Olympic grade, like, mental gymnastics that we're going through. But let's see what else he has to say, because I mean, obviously, if they don't have an infrastructure where if I can go on their site and it's crashed and they keep getting hacked, I don't know.
Thus, they're not stealing for the sake of stealing, they're voting with their wallets. None of those points really hold up to scrutiny, though.
Yeah, they kind of do, because voting with your wallet means that you're not deciding to give in to shady business practices. That's what companies want, is for you to give them money. That's what they're in this for, Jeff. They want you to give them all those sweet dillery doos. They want you to go and give you all of the dollars that you have. That's why AAA video game studios want you to buy Far Cry 5 and pre-order it, so they have your money right in. See, look, you already got it, Tejan. You can just read me like a book, can't you? But yeah, these companies just want your money. They want you to pre-order games, and they want you to get all of these pre-order exclusives before the game's even out. And then once they try to nickel and dime you with all these microtransactions and DLC, then they don't have to do any work. Then they can just cancel the rest of their DLC or just come out with a subpar product. That's what these businesses do. So, I mean, that's a thing that happens, Jeff.
Legal streaming platforms have smaller content libraries and worse subtitles, largely as a consequence of being legal. Every single series that they have has to be licensed, which costs money. Plus, some older shows like Evangelion and Love Hina are stuck in licensing limbo and aren't available anywhere. So
they used to be licensed by Funimation, just by the way.
right off the bat, there's a monetary obstacle preventing any platform from truly having everything. And that's not even factoring in the issue of exclusivity. Having platform exclusives drives sales for these companies in much the same way that Mario sells Nintendo consoles, Uncharted sells PlayStations, and Xbox has no games. And no
by the way, so if we're being extremely truthful here, that was probably my favorite part of the video, because Xbox does not have any exclusive games. So good points for him. He has good boy points. They're gonna get taken right away because he's gonna say a whole lot more dumb shit.
No matter what some people may argue, it would be very, 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 very stupid to give up that competitive advantage. Exclusivity has been a core part of the entertainment business since basically its inception. Movie theaters have been competing this way for almost a century. You better believe that which theater in town had Wizard of Oz was more important than which one had comfortable seats or better popcorn. And going back to the 1600s in London, the Globe Theatre was a success because Shakespeare's plays played exclusively there. Unless everything about copyright and intellectual property changes overnight, and you could definitely make a good argument that maybe it should, exclusivity is not going to go away.
Exclusivity needs to go away, though, because exclusivity hurts the consumer. Why is this a foreign concept? Can I get good boy points? Yes. Tejan technically is a deity of some sort. I just don't know quite where to place him. So in the grand scheme of things, exclusivity hurts the consumer, because obviously if I have to go out and buy a $400, well, for the sake of this, we'll just use the Xbox One X as an example. If I had to buy a $500 console to play Halo 5, why in the world do I have to go out and buy a $500 paperweight to play one exclusive game, or even the like, what, Halo Wars or whatever? But those are even on PC. Like, why in the world do I need to play those on a $500 box because they have exclusives? Why in the world is that a thing? They would have to sell on their own merit. Then they would have to say, hey guys, if you want to play on our 1080p box that can play games in 1440p now, or even in 4K, then come on over. But instead they don't do that. And that's why anime, if they want to sell you on something, then it has to be, well, we have a license exclusive through High Dive, so come watch all of our shows that are in English and in Japanese. It's great. Sure it is. It is on Xbox One X. It's upgraded. Yeah, why do I? That's the whole thing. Like, exclusivity is terrible for the consumer because you have to buy something else to play that one game. Like, you have to buy a Wii U to play Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. It's terrible. It's not an enjoyable experience.
May not like it, but the content is the product, not the service. You wouldn't expect to be able to play Mario on your PlayStation, and you shouldn't expect to be able to get all of the anime in one place. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, I mean, sure, that's a little hyperbolic, but I mean, obviously having anime in one place, which is a service like VRV, you can go and subscribe through them, and then you can get anime in what? You can get it in Crunchyroll and in Funimation through just that one service. That's a start. I mean, sure, it's not the best, but obviously they're trying to do something there. Why can't they just add in like VRV or something like that? It was originally made on Xbox One. Check your privilege. You know what? I don't even care anymore. Cake.
And while it sucks that you have to pay for multiple streaming services to watch all the shows, it's not really reasonable to expect anything else from any company that's obeying the law. Unless that company has enough money to buy every license, and in that case, it would be a monopoly, which would be a lot worse for us as consumers. The subtitle issue is also something inherent to legal options, though that's a bit more complicated. Crunchyroll's in-house translation team is
Everything now at this point, everything from this point on is pretty much going to be how Crunchyroll is superior in every single way. And if you don't believe me, just listen very closely, because this right here just turned into a Crunchyroll like circle jerk. Just wait.
by and large pretty good at what they do. They're comprised largely of former fansubbers after all, but they're not always allowed to do what they do, because sometimes Japanese license holders have specific demands for translation that streaming sites are legally required to follow. Sometimes they even submit their own subtitles, which have to be used. Other YouTubers and articles have gone into more detail on this, but again, it's something that will be an issue for any streaming platform that has to work with Japanese licensors. Believe me, speaking from experience, they can be a real pain. There are exceptions to this. It's unclear why Pop Team Epic is so much better on HiDive than it is on Crunchyroll, for instance, but by and large, legal platforms don't have as much freedom with their translations as fans do. Not that it matters, because most of the pirate sites just use Crunchyroll subtitles anyway.
Boy, no. Sometimes no. Because sometimes when you download Pop Team Epic, some of these shows, when they don't have Crunchyroll subtitles, like Symphogear, for example, I know it's like the only thing that I like legitimately watch. Symphogear Axis didn't have Crunchyroll subtitles to pull from. They instead had to get their translators to work on the show. So when they subtitled it, it was subtitled by people that actually translated the shows when they watched them. Not by Crunchyroll, but by people that translated everything from the very beginning all the way to the very end. Stop being full of yourself, Mother's Basement. Or good old Jeff.
So, if the subtitles or anime selection need to be absolutely perfect for you to ever consider paying for a legal service, you're straight up never going to pay for a legal service. And while I'm sure there are people with this stance who just don't understand that, a lot of pirates just use these principles as an excuse. The low video quality argument does seem a bit more reasonable, since Crunchyroll's player hasn't always been the best, and they did temporarily dramatically lower the bitrate of their video library a year ago, but that turned out to be a mistake made in an effort to improve their encoding infrastructure rather than something they did to make more money.
Wait, they try to do something to increase their video production quality? That's incredible. I didn't know about this. Maybe I couldn't tell because I don't really pay money to them anyways, because that's a real good stretch.
And aside from those few weeks in March, the notion that legal streaming quality is inferior or even equal to that of pirates has been objectively untrue for a long time. Because not only is their player better and steadily improving, they're all—
Oh man. Okay, what I want you guys to do is take a shot every time he talks great about how Crunchyroll is, okay? Take a shot. I will take a shot with you every time that he does that, okay?
also working with better source videos. Legal streaming platforms get raw footage directly from anime producers. Illegal sites, meanwhile, tend to source their footage from RIP TV broadcasts or web rips sometimes, which are always going to be of inferior quality due to broadcast compression, and which often aren't even a full 720p. Some of Crunchyroll's older videos are still poorly encoded, but their newer releases are all markedly better than the alternatives. I had to spend a lot of time looking at footage from A Place Further Than the Universe for my recent What's in an OP on the series, and particularly with fast-moving shots in the OP, the difference between Crunchyroll footage and TV—
All right, there you go. Take a shot.
rips is night and day because of the way that fast-moving video is compressed when it's broadcast. The downloaded raw episodes I was looking at, and especially the illegal streams using those same sources.
Look at, I know you guys can't see it because it's covered up by like the title up here in the corner, but he uses hug anime, but it's like, are we retarded? Does he treat every anime person, every anime viewer as a retard? Like, we know it's Kiss Anime. Wait, do you think he paints his walls with yeah, he's something.
Sources are fuzzy with lots of compression artifacts and missing details.
Bro, he's turned into Digital Foundry of like talking about how great they are.
Hell, the video players of the site that shall not be named are so bad that you can't even read their terrible watermark in fast-moving shots like this. Now, I am not saying that legal streaming sites are the definitive, best-looking way to watch anime.
You kind of did. I mean, he kind of just did, but we're going to skip over it for now.
Blu-ray is always going to look better. Sometimes the early versions of episodes sent to Crunchyroll have extra errors. Just look at Yuri on Ice. And depending on the stability and speed of your internet connection, you may get better playback quality from a downloaded title, which is why it's very important for Crunchyroll and sites like them to adapt the Netflix model and let you download videos as soon as possible. With that said, if quality's a concern for you, illegal platforms aren't going to give it to you, at least not with the timeliness, reliability, and convenience of the legal options.
Now, to be bluntly, just to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Truthful. I've downloaded Pop Team Epic in 1080p every single weekend. And wait, Keck, there isn't something that has everything. PC Master Race. Probably. Yeah, well, this is the thing. So I download Pop Team Epic every Saturday, and it's in 1080p. And I always play it on either a 4K TV or my 4K monitor. And the fast motion video thing that he keeps talking about, the compression and whatnot, I generally don't see anything different than if I were to watch it on Crunchyroll, other than I can see it in 1080p. Netflix lets you download sometimes, and it's not very good, I don't think. But I mean, I don't have Netflix anymore because I don't ever use it because there's nothing I really want to watch on there. But I mean, the video compression thing doesn't really seem all that troublesome if I get to watch something, and it's not really about watching it. You don't really watch anime. Like, let's be serious. You don't really watch anime. You just kind of, listen to it in the background if you watch it in English. But what he owns, yet he can't seem to play with his. I will pay you. Okay, listen. I will pay you in Dr. Pepper.
And, well, look, I could keep going down a list of complaints that people have about Crunchyroll, Netflix, Funimation, Now, High Dive, and every other platform under the sun for the next hour, some of which are legitimate problems that need to be improved, but that ignores the bigger underlying problem of this whole mentality. Namely, the idea of voting with your wallet in the first place. Whenever I bring this topic up, I hear ad nauseum that people don't care about my moral argument for supporting the anime industry. That, as consumers in a free market, it's their right to choose the service that most benefits them. But Hug Animu isn't part of the free market. They're a criminal organization leeching off of it. They don't compete with the legal streaming platforms, they just steal from them and sell their product at a lower price with the same profit margin because they didn't have to pay for it. Okay, look, say I really don't like Best Buy's layout and customer service, but I want to buy a $2,000 4K TV. So
$2,000 4K TV? Are you in fucking sane? Did he even do research? Did he do research on like how much a 4K TV costs? Like, you can go like literally anywhere and get a 4K TV for like, I don't know, $400 easily. So this argument's all like, sorry, this isn't an argument. This is literally just him like just putting words into something. Yeah, criminal markets are part of the market. Absolutely. I don't like Dr. Pepper. I subscribe to whatever time. Yeah, this analogy kind of doesn't make sense in like the grand scheme of things, but just at least hear him out.
So instead of buying the TV from them at that price, I buy it for $300 from a hairy guy who found it after it fell off the back of a truck. Have I voted with my wallet and supported a superior competitor there? Of course not. All I've done is pay a thief to steal a TV.
Well, you see, this is the problem, and this is the difference between buying it from Best Buy or buying it from the guy from Hey Arnold. You see, the problem and the difference is that you're buying it legitimately from either Best Buy or you're buying it from a known criminal. Obviously, you're buying, or you're not really, spending money when you go to Kiss Anime, but you legitimately have to go to a anime pirate site and watch anime, which I guess is like the point that he's trying to get at, I assume. But even then, it's one of those things where people either don't have a credit card to where they can't subscribe to Crunchyroll or Funimation, or they just have to go to a store to buy it and they just don't have the funds or the means. Some people live off of a ramen noodle diet. Yeah, he pretty much does. That's actually a good point. But $300 is actual retail price for, I know, right? Yes, you did. The thief is a form of competition. It is true. But even like for other countries, you have to look at it from the viewpoint that not everybody has the opportunity to watch anime the same way that we do. So even if he wanted to make the argument that Crunchyroll has a whole bunch of shows that you could watch, and yeah, the important part of it. But even if they had a whole bunch of shows that you could watch, they don't have as many as we do here in America. Because as I said in my other video, there's two major markets. It's Japan and here in America. And then if you live in another country, like even in like the UK or even Sweden, a lot of people like live in Sweden and watch anime, which is really surprising. But if you live in another country, then you don't really get anime that's readily available, which is really tough because there's a lot of anime fans all over the world, especially in the Russia parts. So, I mean, let's just keep going.
Jimmy Kissy Face Figgis doesn't have to worry about upfront costs like
God, he did already just admit that he was Jewish. All right.
buying and shipping inventory, and he can hold his stock in a cheapo storage locker forever, so he can make as much as a legit retailer or more while selling the product at a fraction of the price and even driving it straight to your house for free. Hell, that even helps him case the joint for when he robs you later. And yeah, even that part of this metaphor tracks, since pirate sites can data mine you and infect your computer with spyware and viruses using their invasive ads.
But there's a thing called ad block. There's literally a thing called ad block that you can download on your Google Chrome browser. And if you're worried about them mining you, there's actually a Chrome extension. There's actually a Chrome extension called No Coin where you can enable it to where websites, because they don't have to disclose that they're mining Bitcoins off of your processing power, because sometimes you'll notice a spike. No Coin is something that you can add to your Chrome extension bar, where you can just pretty much stop all of that nonsense from happening when you go to any website, because sometimes they will throw ads that will just mine for Bitcoin. So NoCoin eliminates that. So that's a helpful tip for you in case you wanted to stop the Bitcoin from happening. So Mother's Basement loses again.
But putting aside the stupid risks that you put on yourself when you use these sites, let's be clear here. Hug Animu would not be able to exist as it does without the legal streaming platforms providing them the content.
I don't think he quite understands where anime comes from. Does he not know that anime comes directly from another... Okay.
Before Crunchyroll, we did not get every single anime the same day it aired in Japan, not even through fan subbers. Sure, really popular shows with huge fan followings like Naruto would get almost simultaneous fan sub releases, but they were the exceptions, not the rule. Western otaku could wait weeks, even months, for fan sub projects of more niche shows to get caught up, and some shows didn't generate enough interest to get translated or finished at all. There was no pirate site that had it all because it all wasn't available, not in English anyway. The only reason that every single show gets translated now is that Crunchyroll proved there was a market for it. Fan passion just doesn't get niche content translated. Economic incentives do. And while
What did I just hear him say? What did I just hear him say? Let's go back a second.
Unavailable, not in English anyway. The only reason that every single show gets translated now is that Crunchyroll proved there was a market for it.
Go ahead and you better take that fucking shot because he just said something else that's stupid and untrue. And also he talked about how great Crunchyroll is. Like, can we go ahead and take another shot, please?
Fan passion just doesn't get niche content translated. Economic incentives do. And while pirate sites definitely make a lot of money, they don't make enough to stay profitable if they suddenly had to pay a huge team of translators to subtitle every single show as quickly as possible. Some people have suggested that anime fans should stop paying for streaming platforms altogether to force them to innovate, which is really, really, really absurdly stupid. And here's why. If that happened and the legal sites started running low on funds, they would start reducing their acquisitions to just the most popular series. And on the pirate sites that everyone thought they were so clever to use instead, pretty soon every niche title would start coming with Google Translate subs.
No, they wouldn't. This are scare tactics. They have people that are legitimately, like, they probably are dual linguist and they can speak two languages where they can just translate stuff on their own. Why are you promoting underage drinking? Because I'm a bad person. That's why. You're asking a doggo to drink? Yeah, you can drink water. You don't have to drink alcohol. I never said anything about drinking alcohol. I said take a shot. But mother's basement. What about your? Yeah, he had some fucked up taste. Yeah. So this is my whole takeaway from what he's saying. Niche titles would come with Google Translate. So, you know, translators don't exist. That's not a thing. Do they? Oh boy. This isn't even concerning at this point. This is just we're at the tail end of this. There's only 3 minutes left in this video. Let's just get through it.
Because as much as pirates would like to convince you that you're just paying for a service with these streaming platforms, you're also buying the content and all of the work that goes into translating it for you. And if people stop buying it, the content stops coming. That's how it works.
What? Supply? Okay, I know he's going to say supply and demand, but can we go like right here?
Would like to convince you that you're just paying for a service with these streaming platforms, you're also buying the content and all of the work that goes into translating it for you. And if people stop buying it, the content stops coming. That's how it works. Supply follows demand. Economics 101. And that's what this boils down to, an economic argument, not a moral one. If the anime you seek out and watch is worth your time, it's also worth your money. And you should pay with it, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it directly contributes to bringing over more for everyone else to enjoy.
You know, I can only throw so much money at Dirty Pair Flash before I get a reboot, and I still don't have it yet, so this obviously isn't working. So
when someone says, I don't want to pay for legal streaming services, they're not just saying, I should be entertained for free, or animators should work for me for free. What they're really saying is, every anime fan who does pay for these services should subsidize my leisure time. I deserve that. And
no one says that. We're not saying that if you pay for Crunchyroll, then you're doing us the service. We're saying, great, thanks for paying. I mean, I wish that I had the incentive to, but I just don't. I don't like the way that Crunchyroll runs their business. I'll take my money elsewhere. Thanks.
I don't care how they spin or try to justify that. It makes them an asshole.
So don't forget, guys, if you pirate anime, you're an asshole.
Piracy is theft. It's theft from creators, it's theft from distributors, and it's theft from regular people like you and me.
Also, if you didn't know, there was a video game company, CD Projekt Red, who would rather you pirate the game than to buy a game pre-owned from GameStop, because they wouldn't see any of that money anyways, because they would rather you have an enjoyable experience. They don't really care if you pirate their game. They just want you to be able to enjoy it.
It's petty theft, but it's still theft. And look, I know that I'm not going to convince most of the people doing the stealing to stop stealing with this video. That is not my goal here. I'm just trying to stop them from pretending it's something it's not. They're not on some righteous moral crusade, they're not fighting industrial stagnation and corporate greed, they're not geniuses who've beat the system, and they're not gonna fix the anime industry by suddenly not paying for streaming platforms. They're just a bunch of kids who never got past the misconception that cartoons are something they get to watch for free.
Oh, no one's trying to say that they beat the system, Jeff. All we're saying is that we're trying to make the point that Crunchyroll, no one has a problem paying for it. We just want them to actually have a decent service. We want people to be able to enjoy watching their show, and people to enjoy like having a service where their servers do not crash and burn every time a new anime season starts, where their service is actually stable enough to where I can go on there without worry that every time that I go and log in, that all my stuff isn't going to get hacked. I don't have to worry about that when I pirate anime. That's the least of my worries. But don't worry, I'm still an asshole, aren't I?
So, yeah, that's all of my thoughts on this subject, and while normally now is the time when I'd be asking you guys to leave a comment, I somehow feel like I don't need to do that, and it's just gonna happen anyway.
Oh, don't you fucking worry. There's a lot of people that will, including myself. So let's look at all of these wonderful comments that he, let's just say, accrued over this short amount of time. So if you didn't know, Unique Namosaurus is the one that says you should pirate anime, using another pirate thing. A lot of these people in the comments section were pretty much voicing their opinions about it. Jeff completely contradicts this logic when we talk about Kageguri. I don't even like anime, just the drama around its YouTubers. Yeah. Or hear me out, you don't own what you stream, and people like to own things. True. The drama is pretty funny. Don't be discouraged by the comments. You make great videos. Thank you for having the courage to share your opinion on this contentious topic. Wrong? Just kidding. I will dislike it though. I'm gonna give you a dislike. Victory 101 says, I just don't have the money, and there's more variety with Kiss Anime. In future, if I have the money, I will get Funimation. If you shut down pirated sites, then 70% of people will not watch anime anymore. I think that that's a pretty rough estimate, but it's probably not true. I mean, there's going to always be an audience of people that will find a way to watch it. Have some necrodrama. I mean, there kind of already is, technically. I mean, there's already kind of drama. It's just, me and what's her name? Aki Dearest, and we have the anime man. Can I look up Aki Dearest here? She's probably said something really stupid as of lately. I went to a butler cafe. Boy, I'm sure that oof. There was this one from 2 weeks ago. I think this is the video. She went to a yaoi cafe, and that's the one where these guys were pretty much just what were they doing? It was essentially that. It was essentially she went to a cafe where it was just boys love yaoi, and she just felt sickened by it, I guess. But she was pretty much demeaning them the whole time. Like, that was kind of weird. I mean, I could go on for days about how awful of a person Aki Dearest is, because I didn't even get like the gist of it out when I was like originally doing the video. But I just, like, look at this. She even made a video a fucking year ago, how I discovered yaoi. Like, are you kidding me? And now you're like disgusted when you go to a yaoi cafe? She looks so awkward with her chapped lips. Oh my god, it's hurting me. It's hurting my soul. Ugh. But I don't really know. God has abandoned us. Yeah. Do an E3 vlog. What? An E3? How am I gonna do an E3 vlog? How in the world will I do that if I don't go to E3? That makes no sense. Necro knows my opinion on Aki. Yeah, I think oof. Wait. What happened to Otaku Coin? What? So Otaku Coin's like not coming out now, or is it canceled? I generally don't know. But that's good if it doesn't. I think I'll end the stream here because I think we pretty much got a I think we got a thing going on. So it's been an hour. An hour for a 20-minute video about Mother's Basement telling me how much of an asshole I really am. Go to E3 with a camera. Ta-da. Yeah, I don't live anywhere near E3, and it costs like a legit shit ton of money to go. We'll make Necro go whether he wants to or not. If you like legitimately like kidnap me and take me there, then I will go. But otherwise, I don't have a way to get there. Anime was just Japan copying Disney, though. It truly is. If you look into the lore of how anime was truly made, actually, what's his name? Down the rabbit hole. Hang on, I can show it to you right here on the screen before I leave. If you go to Down the Rabbit Hole, which is made by Frederick Knudsen, he has a thing about where is it at? Right here, Anime and Otaku, part 1 of 2. That pretty much gives you the entire history of where anime came from and like how it was pretty much derived and spread through history before and after World War II. And it pretty much was an attempt to compete with Disney since Disney was such a juggernaut in making cartoons. It's pretty interesting. 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend. Do a front flip sidekick. Go debate Anime Man and oh my god. Do you want me to just suffer like radiation poisoning talking to the Anime Man? He'll kill me. They both copied each other. It's kind of funny actually. Yeah, it's interesting because now they just license shit to everybody. It's fine. I wouldn't mind doing a anime. Thanks. Thanks, Doggo. Thank you for that. But all right. Well, I think that's about it. So thanks for everybody for stopping by and chatting with me in the little chat there. I know I wish there was like a thing where people could like sponsor, but unfortunately fucking YouTube hates me, but I mean, there's always Twitch for that. So you guys can like follow me on Twitch and then, you know, see me get bossed around by everybody that's in the chat there and watch me play anime titty games all day. And I guess I will stream like here in the next 3 hours. So we'll figure out something for that. You're fine, penguins. I'll think of another live stream. Probably another thing like this where we just, I don't know, shoot the shit. It'll be fine. I don't like Aki Dearest. I don't mind the Anime Man, but I don't like Aki Dearest. Unknown Otaku, boy, you'd be surprised. You'd be absolutely surprised if you knew what I knew. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and this will be posted in the live streams little like playlist that I have. So I'm also referring to myself as that Necro guy because apparently I pissed off a lot of people and they called me that Necro guy. So, you know, I'm just kind of rolling with it. We'll see. So, you said you're gonna play Plunk Bat. I might. Yeah, we'll play more PUBG tonight. We'll play that. How dare you be fit? Yeah, how dare you be more fit than me? Damn it! All I'm doing is sitting here with a green Red Bull. It's awful.